Have you ever thought about the names in Apothecary Diaries? Being set in ancient China, each character's name reveals a lot about both their background and personalities, and sometimes even potentially what might happen to them in the future. Let's get the easiest and most obvious one out the way first. Maomao quite literally means cat or kitty. The anime often depicts her as a cat. There's really not much to say about her as it just fits perfectly. Now moving on to Jinshi, our favorite frogman. For a lot of these characters, there's going to be two pronunciations, the Japanese version and the Chinese version. In the case of Jinshi, the pronunciation of his name in Chinese would be Rinshi, so just slightly different. But what do the characters actually mean? Well, Rin comes from the heavenly stems, representing the ninth, but it can also mean to trust or to burden, which honestly kind of poetic, considering the man is out here carrying the emperor's secrets and the emotional burden of being everyone's best boy. Then we got Si, which just means clan. So his name translated literally means person of the Rin clan. Yeah, it's pretty weird to name someone that, but it is foreshadowing his true identity. So, who is Jinshi? Well, his real name is Kai Suigetsu, or Hua Rui Yue, with Hua meaning elegant or splendid. I mean, just look at the man, it's pretty goddamn elegant, if I gotta say it for myself. Rui means lucky, which checks out because of what happens to him during his infancy. And finally, Yue means moon, which is usually used in a more feminine way. Once again, look at him. In the show, they literally describe him as someone whose beauty transcends genders. I mean, Maomao compares his beauty to that of a celestial maiden's. So his full name can be interpreted as a beautiful person with good fortune that shines like the moon, right? Something like that. Okay, next is Ahdou. Her name stands out as it's not one that you would typically see a noble lady to have, which may be because of her mother's status as a servant. Ah doesn't really have a meaning. It's an affectionate prefix that is used for someone that you're close with, kind of like dear or even a nickname that you will call a child. Dou, however, means a lot or many, which I guess is because she's rich, but it's more ironic because of what happened to her in the past, leaving her unable to have any more children. Now for the other consorts, starting with Gyokuyo, the spelling of her Japanese name is very different from the Chinese version, which is Yue, with Yue meaning jade, commonly representing grace and purity, and Ye means li, which can represent nature and beauty. So combined, her name would mean someone who is both pure on the inside and beautiful on the outside. Then there's her rival, LiHua, or in Chinese, pronounced as LiHua. So this name is actually quite symbolic as it's commonly seen in Chinese literature. Li means pear. I mean, just look at her pears. Anyways, Hua means flower, commonly used to show femininity, so her name is literally pear blossom. So why exactly is the name so significant? It's because of the phrase pear blossoms within rain, symbolizing a beautiful woman who is crying, which makes sense because we know what happened to her at the beginning of the series. Alright, now moving on to probably the most mysterious character in the entire series, Loulan. Quick spoiler warning for anyone who has not caught up with the anime yet. If you want to skip this part, check the timestamp on the screen. So when breaking down her name, Lo means layers or floors, which is fitting because when we first meet her in the anime, we don't really know who she is beneath the surface. La means orchid, a popular name given to girls representing beauty, nobility, and integrity. But here's the kicker. Loulan shares her name with the ancient kingdom of Loulan, which is significant because why would you name your character after a ruined kingdom unless it holds a deeper meaning? And of course, we can't talk about Loulan if we don't mention Shisui, or the Chinese pronunciation Cikui. Ci is used to show youth, usually describing that of a child, while Cui means emerald green, representing elegance and grace. I guess it kind of matches with her green eyes. I know that the wiki says that it's dark golden, but come on, that looks pretty green to me. But then again, I can just be colorblind. But if you take those two parts and you put it together, the name is actually layered, as the first part of her name shows that she is childlike, which we see in the anime through her persona as Sisui, while the second part of her name represents her nobility and how she acts as consort Loulan in the inner court. And for the last person I want to talk about, it's actually my favorite character in the entire series, the creepy ass tactician, Lakan, or Lohang. So his name makes a lot more sense together than it does apart. Let me explain. Lo means to gather, which is likely a nod to him being a strategist as he gathers both people and information. But Han just means man or person, so the direct translation of his name would be something along the lines as a person who gathers. But if we take a closer look at his name, it actually originates from the word Alohang, meaning Arhat, a Buddhist term to describe someone who has reached enlightenment. I mean, I think it kind of makes sense because he is probably the happiest person in the entire series. Man gets to see his daughter after like 10 plus years and finally gets to reunite with his thought-to-be dead wife. I mean, that's pretty pog, but that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new about the characters from Apothecary Diaries. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.